I hope your day is full of gumdrops and sparkles and unicorns and bubbles and narwhals and fairies and elves and dwarves like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I don't know. I think you can still say dwarves. I think. I mean, like the whimsical things. Gnomes? Gnomes. I meant gnomes. Guys, what's going on? My lovers, my friends. It is I, Shank, here with a banger episode for you with one of my favorite people, comedian Brian Simpson. You guys are going to love this episode. He's a super, super talented comic, and we talk everything from allyship to comedy to quarantine to you name it, we get into it. He is a super talented comedian. He's been featured on Lights Out and on David Spade. You can watch his set online. Check him out. Follow him. He also has a podcast, and he's just a fun hang. I think you guys are really gonna love this episode. But before we get into this episode, I just want to tell you about something that has me excited, and that's Libra. What? Yeah, Libra. If you're not following them, follow them online at Libra Shops on Instagram. Libra is an amazing, amazing dispensary. Their flagship store is in Palm Desert. They have so many different offerings. I can't tell you how excited their dispensary makes me. I know they have good products because I smoke some of their weed that was recommended to me, some Wonder Brett from a Budrista. And I know that they have good weed because coleslaw tasted good after I smoked their flower. Okay? In order for coleslaw to taste good, you really have to be high. And not just kind of high, you have to be high off some good shit. That's why I love Libra. Follow them online, show them some support because they support the show and we want to keep giving back to them. Follow them at Libra Shops on Instagram or head to their website, librashop.com. If you're passing through the Palm Desert area, swing by there, guys. Show them some love, follow them, tell them you're enjoying the show. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Shank with Brian Simpson. Here it is, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Was I not recording that whole other time?
No, you weren't. No.
No!
Oh, but you know what? I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
I thought it automatically did it. Fuck, but it wasn't recording.
No, it wasn't recording until just now.
Shit. Wait, should I end? What should I do right now? We had so many good things in the beginning.
It's fine. Just put before the YouTube video. Just put wasn't recording the first whatever. Just the whole thing is in the audio. I mean, most of your listeners go audio anyway.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. We adapt. You know, that's what's gonna have to happen.
I only noticed because this happened to another interview I did. Somebody like it dropped and then we came back. He forgot to record it, and so we recorded like 30 minutes without it. We did like 30 minutes without recording. You know.
I mean, that's like such a rook mistake. I'm fucking up left and right. That's okay. Do you like this stream of consciousness meltdown I'm having on my podcast?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So what are some ways that you think, I mean, white people can be better allies? Is that a question that I should be asking you, or is that a question that I should be asking my other white friends? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your take?
You know what? I have no idea. I mean, I think, you know, my answer to these sorts of questions is just like, just mean what you say. Like if you don't, you know, if you really think Black Lives Matter, at the same, you know, or you really think Black lives have value, as much value as your own, or as much value as people that you care about, then you need to educate yourself. You know, if you don't, then you need to educate yourself until you do, you know, if you want to. And, you know, you need to ask yourself if the things you're doing are actually benefiting Black people. Like, because a lot of things are just symbolic. You know, you can do things, but it's like if you're donating money, if you're phone banking, if you're doing those sorts of things, it's like that's what it matters. Like, don't just say Black Lives Matter if you don't mean it, if you're not gonna act.
Right. Don't just put
You
up a
know?
black square and be done with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then what about the people who didn't even put up anything? Like, did that bother you at all?
No.
It
No, not at
doesn't?
all.
It's
No,
so
I mean
interesting.
people contribute in different ways. I
I
mean,
like that. That's like I like that perspective, because there's so many different ways that you can contribute, whether even if you don't have money, but like you spend a full day signing petitions all
yeah. The
day.
only and also for some people, social media is realer than you know than others. You know, it's like especially like for the younger people, it's like social media is important and it is part of their life. Where I think people my age and older sort of see it as a tool and not really a representation of a person, you know, whereas younger people are like, no, that is part of who you are, your social media. You know, to me, that's just who you want people to think you are, but you still have to be something, you're still something different in real life. And who that person is what really matters, you know. But the only people whose social media bother me were the people where it was obvious that they, you know, it's like because a lot of performers deal with this, where it's like a lot of their fans are not comfortable with race and you taking a racial stance, and so some people are like, I don't want to lose fans. You know, I want to stay apolitical so that my fans that don't want to hear this shit don't leave me or whatever.
Fuck
And
those
and,
fans.
and so they would post things exactly, but some people like they try to post things where they in the middle, where they're like, oh well, you know, I think Black Lives Matter, but you know, police have a hard job or some shit, you know, and it's like, uh, and it's like, you know, it's like just be quiet. It's like either you're contributing to the situation in a positive or a constructive way, or you're just pandering and like nobody gives a fuck about that. Just leave, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's like, why don't you have? It's like, ask yourself, why don't you have any black friends? You know, it's like, where are
Yeah.
your black friends? You're in Hollywood, right? Which is in and of itself not a black city, but you're in Los Angeles, where there's every sort of ethnicity. Why don't you have any black friends? Especially if you're in comedy. You're in comedy. Why don't you have any black friends? You know, like
Right.
real people. I'm not talking about like, you know, your associates that you say hi to, but I'm talking about people that's really like in your life that you know about, that you care about, that have been invited to your home, that you do things outside of comedy with. It's like, because that's how you care about people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But who knows? Who knows?
I mean, it's just so, I don't know. It's literally the last few months have been so much to fucking process. Like, even in terms of like knowing what type of, do you have the thought of like, what is my material going to be coming out of this pandemic? Like, are you going to write all new
Mhm.
stuff? Like, what is going to be relevant anymore? Am I going to go back to like talking about like fucking casual observations? Because it's like, that doesn't seem
No,
pertinent right now. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
this sort of thing has always been a part of my material.
I know. That's why I saw your set that you did on the David Spade show, Lights Out, and it was incredible. And I was like, wow, how many times have I seen Brian do stand up, and how many times have I actually listened? Do you know what I mean? It was one of those
Yeah.
moments too of like, he's like, I have so many black comic friends who have been saying this stuff, and it's like, have I actually heard it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, but that's part of it, you know. It's just growth. You know, anybody trying to pretend like they, you know, have always been woke is those people, they disturb me.
Yeah,
They're
well,
like,
yeah, some people
like
are still asleep.
yeah, I mean, and some people are just narcissists that are like that are attaching themselves to a movement that lets them be of, you know, that lets them be have power over people, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm suspicious of everybody. And maybe that's not a good thing, but you know, these last 5 years is like I'm trying very hard not to become a full-on cynic about things, you know, because
Oh,
a lot of things we're talking about now is people are operating under the assumption that we can salvage this thing, you know.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's also a real possibility that this motherfucker might fall the fuck apart, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that people, it's so much to process where we are as a country right now that people are just like, I don't know. We have to salvage it because I cannot imagine another 4 years with this shit. It's like every day there's another fucking there's something crazy. I mean, like the fact that Breonna Taylor's killers haven't been arrested yet, that's fucked up. It's just
Yeah, man, you see, black women are the most uncared for group on the planet. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can't even fucking imagine,
It,
honestly.
it's like, yeah, I mean, if George Floyd had been a woman, do you think it would have been the same response?
No, because
Or
Breonna Taylor is still all of her killers are still out there, right? I don't
yeah,
know. I think maybe
hmm
one got arrested and released, maybe. I'm not
and
sure.
he lost his job. He wasn't
That's
arrested.
it. That's it. And they barged into her house and the fucking yeah, that was really upsetting. And then also when the CNN reporter got arrested when he was just reporting, I don't know if you saw that. I was
Nah.
I was like I don't know. It's just crazy the amount of stuff we're able to capture now with phones and stuff, and you're like, you can't even.
Yeah, but that's what's so critical. No, actually, you know, we've been capturing it, but the difference is now, like I said, I think the pandemic has a lot to do with it because a big a big fault of capitalism, especially in its current implementation, is that, you know, the ethic in this country, the work ethic in this country is it basically gives people just enough to where the majority of us can't stop worrying about money, like survival,
Ever.
like yeah, and it puts everybody in this like semi survival mode where they don't have the energy to spare to care about other people. You know what I mean? Where it's like you care about them intellectually, but emotionally you have to focus on paying your bills so you can survive. You know, and so when the pandemic hit, it's like everyone's staying home, and there's, you know, they're worried about the virus or not worried about the virus, but they don't have the concern of, you know, it's a rent moratorium. Most people were good the first couple of months, and it's like they a lot of white folks now they have the opportunity to like the free energy to give a fuck. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
nothing else to do. You know, so it was like it was the perfect storm. But because it's like these videos have been happening for years. The difference now is that a lot of white folks who knew it but didn't know it, now they out here at these protests and the police knocking them upside their motherfucking head, and they like, oh shit, these motherfuckers do just be breaking the rules, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of white folks think, you know, they still like deep down think, well, you know, he was doing something illegal, and you know, if you're following the rules, then the cops, you know, they can't do anything to you, and then they out there following the rules, and the cops beat them in their fucking head or spray them with tear gas, and then you realize, oh, these motherfuckers they really are corrupt like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine what they do when there aren't cameras rolling, when they think they aren't being watched. You know what I mean? When they all
I
collectively turn off their body cameras and fuck somebody up. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can't even imagine it. I can't even imagine it. I mean, like, honestly, it's just so interesting because, like, I had like a full on mental breakdown about a year ago and the cops had to come. And I was just thinking how different that would have been if I was black. You know what I mean? Like the fact that, and I had to go to a psych ward. It was a full fucking thing. Maybe I would have ended up in jail. You know what I mean? Like that's, it's just so different when you think, or how many times I've gotten pulled over, or how many times I've got in like DUI checked or this or that, and how it could have ended so differently if I was just a different skin color. And like that's been really fucking with me, especially in terms of like the cannabis world, because I'm like, weed's great, it brings me nothing but joy.
Yeah, it's sort of like I don't know. It's like, you know how like with comedy, sometimes you have to live in that uncomfortable space
Yeah.
until a bit starts working, or until you find the punchline or whatever.
Yeah.
It's That's what it is. It's just growth. It's like you have to live in that uncomfortable racial space, because it's a muscle you've never flexed. And the thing is, it's stripping something away. It's like a safety net that's being stripped away. It's like, so, I don't know, because I'm not white. I don't know what it's like to come out of that cloud.
It's a fucking head fuck, because
Yeah.
um you're like, I'm not racist, but I've been brainwashed. I've been, like, you don't realize that you literally have privilege just by being white. I don't know. So yeah, it's like again, it's just crazy that it takes a fucking global pandemic for white people to be like, oh yeah, racism is fucked up and we need to do something about it. But I guess it's better late than never, and hopefully some fucking change happens. I mean, also I think that like, unless you're the 1%, right now I feel like so many people are fucking angry because now we're seeing like, oh, the government didn't really look out for us because of the pandemic, and oh shit, a lot of people have lost their jobs and all of this stuff. And I think we're just starting to like, the veil's kind of been lifted, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, or also don't forget, this shit could just fall apart. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's like we like. I mean, we have the worst possible.
president.
Yeah, we have the worst possible leadership with the worst possible people steering the country, because they're concerned about themselves and their own self-image and all of that, and or their own reputations or whatever. And it's like a malignant narcissist in the White House is it's going to. And the thing is, it's those sorts of people were elected all over the world.
I know.
England, Brazil, Mexico, they all have very Trump-like presidents, that are like these macho, tough-talking type dudes that are really just pussies deep down inside, that, they want to be in control of how they're viewed. They're obsessed with how they're seen, and they want to be able to say what they are instead of being judged by their behavior, But maybe
Yeah.
that's everybody's problem.
No, I mean, also it's crazy to just see the president on like tweeting on social media. Like, it just feels like we're living in such a dystopian, fucked up society. Also, like, my grandpa was a Holocaust survivor, and now he passed away, but I'm like so glad that he is not alive to see Trump in office, because it's like, I'm sure that would bring up some fucking shit, dude. Second dictator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I escaped Hitler, now I gotta deal with this fucking guy. Shit. Yeah. I mean, also, like, my favorite thing that has happened is when he went into his bunker and hid. And then was like, I was just inspecting it. Oh, no worries, guys. I was just inspecting it, making sure it was looking all right. I wasn't afraid. I was like, what?
Right. It was just an inspection, see?
Just a casual inspection. Have you been writing?
Yeah, somewhat.
It's hard to focus. At least for me, it's been.
Right. It's very hard to focus. It's very hard to it's hard to feel because I gotta get my anxiety got to be down to a certain level to like flow,
To be creative.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that because like I said, I'm just full of worry, and the worry is exhausting. Even though there's a lot of things, there's so many things to worry about that I have no control over. But it's hard to it's hard to do that. And the thing is, the worry takes up so much of my energy that when I do things, I get exhausted so quickly. So it's like,
I
I don't know,
know.
it feels like being pulled in a whole bunch of directions.
That's a good way of describing it. Also, like, for things that used to just seem effortless take so much more time, like going to the grocery store, like, did I touch that? Did I touch this? Did I touch my face? Did I wash my hands? Like, am I supposed to disinfect the groceries? No, we're not doing that anymore. Like, and just like worrying about everything. I never was a germaphobe. Like, I've never been really a germaphobe. I've always been very like clean and like, but like I can get like be a little messy, but not like a germ freak. Now I'm like, am I gonna be bringing my own mic when we go back to comedy? Am I gonna be that bitch? So it's like, excuse me, I have my own mic. Like, I don't want to touch this because I'm afraid of germs. Like, am I gonna wear gloves? Do you know what I mean? Like, am I gonna be nervous to get too close while I'm doing crowd work? Like, I just feel like the trauma that everyone's gonna have from this like weird time, who knows what's gonna happen. I'm also like, can we please get the Mexican kids out of cages too while we're at it? What the
Oh yeah.
fuck?
Well, that's the other thing, man. It's like, it's like Black people are not the only people that America owes.
No.
It's like, because how can you deal with one without dealing with it at all?
We gotta deal with it all. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
like, there's
you have to deal with the economic side of it too, because that's really what the racism is. The machine is set up so that Black people have less opportunities to have capital, and have like redlining was set up so Black people couldn't, and the I forget what they called it, the Housing Act. What the fuck was the name of it? But anyway, it was literally the federal government stopping Black people from owning houses in the 50s.
that is
And
fucked up.
yeah, which stops you from being able to pass on, because think about it, you're renting right now,
Mm-hmm.
so and so all the money that you're making that's going into rent is not going to be able to be passed to your children or to anyone. But if you're allowed to buy a home, your income can be saved up in the value of your home, and then you can pass that home on to your kids, and they can sell it or whatever. And that's what it is. A lot of white folks I know are on their third generation house.
I'm trying to get a third generation house. You know
Yeah,
what I
or it's
mean?
like, no. But here's the thing. Most of the white people I know, there is a house in their family. It's not enough houses for everybody to get one, but somebody in your house somebody in your family got a house. It was your mama or your aunt or somebody that came from your grandma or grandfather. You know what I mean, and so on. And nobody in my family has a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's
no one in my
interesting.
family had a house passed to them. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't, they weren't allowed. So it was like those little sorts of things that were designed, and this was, the government did this. This wasn't like this wasn't like the Ku Klux Klan, patrolling neighborhoods, making sure Black people didn't buy houses. This was
The
the
government.
government. Yeah, and they never did anything to make it right. And that's the thing. It's like this idea that racism is over when you never fixed the racist shit you did. You know what I mean? You never did anything to correct it. What makes you think it's over? Because you don't feel the effects, or because you haven't seen somebody in a Klan hood in a long time. You think racism is over with, or why do you even think you're the one that gets to say that?
Yeah.
The United States government needs to, because that's really what reparations is going to end up being, is they need to take a direct action to undo the financial harm to the Black community that if they really want to be able to accurately say or truthfully say that we're all are on fair ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
100.
they created the inner city and over policed it. You know, we're the only modern country that has for-profit prisons. We're the only first world country that has for-profit prisons.
And
You know
all
what
the
I mean?
companies that use prison labor, I mean, everything from Apple, it's just fucked up. It's
I
fucked up.
just looked up like list of killings by law enforcement officers by country, right? And this is as of 2019, right?
Okay.
And Venezuela, with a population of 28 million, I think they're at the top of the list with 1,830.
1,830. Okay.
1,830. So the United States has 330 million.
No.
Oh, right. So okay. So that number's wrong. This is per 10 million people. So Venezuela has 1,830 police killings per 10 million people. They only have 30 million people. That's like,
okay.
What's that? 5,000 people or something like that. But a little bit over that, way over that. But here in America, we have 330 million people basically. And we have 46 killings per 10 million people, which is, well, let me calculate that real quick. Calculator. I didn't have to say calculator for it to come up. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know, but I was into it. I was like, he's handling it. I don't know what he's doing. He's crunching the numbers. He's fucking getting me the straight facts right now, and I'm impressed, to be honest. I haven't broken out a calculator in some time.
So 1,518. So 1,518 police killings in America. And keep in mind, there's countries in the world where the police don't kill anyone.
I know.
Switzerland, Iceland, Denmark. In Japan, it's 0.2. In Poland, it's 0.5. In the United Kingdom, it's 0.5. In India has 1.3 billion people. They kill one person. The police kill one person per 10 million.
Whoa.
You know, so it's like,
that's fucking crazy. When you really, I mean, I don't fucking know, dude.
Ooh, Luxembourg. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, I need to get off this list.
You're crunching the numbers over there. I respect it. I like Brian Simpson coming with the hard facts. What about, okay, I also noticed how, I mean, like, I'm really into fashion. So for me, it's like Black people have the best fashion, especially because there's some like lame, I don't know, it's just like streetwear, all of it. And I noticed that there's so many white people who love Black culture, but then we're not out there fighting the fight. And that's annoying. When you realize that as a white person too, you're like, oh yeah, I like so many things from Black culture, but it's like you don't get to pick and choose. You gotta like all of it.
Yeah, they want Black people a la carte. You know, it's kind of like the same thing of people saying, you know, just, you know, stick to comedy. You know, or like people hop in your mentions or hop in your DMs like, hey man, I thought you were really funny, but now I gotta unfollow you and
yeah.
You know, fuck out of here, nigga. Like, I'm a person.
Yeah, and it's also like, bye, unfollow me.
And also, a lot of people assume that comedians are just goofy all the time. It's like, I'm actually serious most of the time.
Me too. I'm not always on. I'm not like a fucking weird clown all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm mostly like a sad, thoughtful clown most of the time. And then when I'm on stage, it's different. But like, I think comedians live a lot in their heads. I mean, like the good ones. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
you're trying to process so much. You're like, I don't know. I had somebody tell me that like I need to stop observing so much and start having more fun, and I was like, okay, because it's like how can you not observe? I don't know. Once you're in that zone of like observing so much, it is hard to like actually like enjoy things sometimes. Do you feel
Yeah,
like
that's like,
that?
but telling somebody not to, that's so crazy. That's like shitting in
Yeah.
somebody's car. It's like shitting in somebody's car and telling them just not smell it. Just why don't you just
Yeah.
stop? Why don't you just stop smelling what's around you? It's like
Yeah.
I can see it and it's piqued my interest. I can't just not ignore it.
Yes, that's what happens. It's like I feel like a lot of comedians are like that because you're like constantly like, oh, why is that like this? Why is this like this? Or that shouldn't be like that. And that's funny because of this. And so it takes you out of being present sometimes. And I think that's why when you're actually hanging out with other comedians, you're more present because you're able to talk about all those things that you've observed. And the other person will be like, I observed that, but have you ever noticed this about it? And you're like, oh shit. No, that's a good point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's the shit that I miss with
yes.
like stand up of like, you're like, oh, this person also is an observer and they're going to have a hot, funny take on this. And maybe they'll be able to add to my hot take on this instead of just
Right.
like walking around observing and everyone's like, why aren't you having fun with us? And you're like, I'm having my own type of fun.
Yeah. I mean, most comedians can have um, most comedians can have that discussion. Most comedians can have any discussion. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and that's what's really so powerful about comedy to me is that there's comedians can receive or do receive um, so many perspectives and views on things constantly. You know, it's like, in fact, you crave it. You crave for somebody to have an angle that you didn't see,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Because then you're like, yeah, you're like, fuck. My mind just opened in a new way, which feels good
Right.
because there's so many. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm really missing that, I guess, from the comedy world once we really talk about it. Like that, those interactions, those conversations, like the creative collaborations. Like, where else do you get that? You're not going to get that at a grocery store when you have a mask covering your face. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, also the masks. I mean, do you have like a favorite mask that you wear every day, or do you have like a disposable one?
Nah. I have a few. I got it all. I have a disposable. I have a pack of disposable ones in my bag.
Okay.
I have a cloth. I have some rotating cloth ones. Ones I keep by my desk, and one I keep by my keys at the door. So it's everything to stop me from having to turn around to get a mask.
They're just
You know?
everywhere.
So it's like if I forget to grab them when I leave my room, I grab one when I grab my keys. And if I forget to grab one when I grab my keys, I have the little paper ones in my bag.
Oh, you got
And
masks everywhere.
and if push comes to shove, like I've gone and walked to the store or something and got halfway down the street without my mask, you know, and I just take my t-shirt off and wrap it around or
That was
something.
innovative of you.
or desperate, whatever. I guess
Oh my god.
necessity is the mother of invention, right?
I had this mask. I thought it was cool. It was like just a plain black mask, and I put it on all weird. And my friend was like, "Are you wearing a dental dam?" And I was like, "I've never even seen a dental dam. Does my mask look like a dental dam? Like, who's using dental dams?" She's like, "People in the gay community use dental dams." I'm like, "They do?
Wow.
A
Yeah. Oh
dental
yeah.
dam?"
Dental dams. Oh yeah. For eating pussy. Yeah.
But like, do people really use this?
I mean, they still in business.
The dental dam? Dental
Yeah. They
dams?
still in business. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I've never talked to a woman that's used it in depth about it. You know, like
Oh,
because you
I
talk.
never been like, excuse me. Would feel more comfortable if you ate me out with a dental dam. That seems like so weird, right? That'd be like if someone like how many people are giving condom blowjobs? It's like the same type of thing. You're like, Maybe just let's not. Let's just get to know each other better before we're using protection for oral sex.
Like I remember a long time ago. It was in a movie. I forget if it was Boys in the Hood or, but basically it was like, you know, and people have been saying it since, where they like, you know, they put on 2 condoms or they double.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you just fuck somebody that you don't have to put on 2 condoms?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, because if you at that point, it just feels like maybe, you know, maybe fuck someone else. I don't know.
If you're not trusting them.
Yeah, because no one's trying to put on more condoms.
No, 2?
You know what I mean? 2? Double?
You double bagging it? Because it's like, I mean, at this point though, I'd rather have sex with someone with 2 basks than 2 condoms.
Right.
You know what I mean?
but then, you know, at the same time, no, I don't believe anyone that's ever said that. Anyone that's ever said they put on 2 condoms, I don't believe that.
No.
I don't believe it at all. No.
I feel like that's you lie. Yeah, that's you. It's like, it's almost like anyone who says they put on 2 condoms really is just raw dogging all the time.
Oh, yep, exactly.
It's like virtue signaling, but with condoms. Yeah. You know,
it's like people here that say they do a little cocaine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you need to go to rehab, son.
Oh yeah, just do a little cocaine, just for special occasions. Like every day is a special occasion.
Right.
Also, like, I've never seen the mayor and governor more in my entire life. I've never like seen so much like congressman action in my life. I'm like, I've never seen Garcetti's face more in my life, and frankly, I'd like to take a break from it. I'm like, I don't know. Newsom.
No, then you need to vote that motherfucker out.
Yeah,
vote
bye.
His ass out. Yeah.
I can't wait to vote.
Because it's like this dude keep trying to come back with like, we like, yo, defund the police. That's what we mean. We mean that. Defund the police, refund the community. You know, that's what we want. We want the money. You know, we want part of that $3 billion budget that the police have. You know what I mean? We want most of that to go into community programs that actually make communities safer, rather than just having armed people roaming our streets that are willing to gun us down if they are the slightest bit uncomfortable.
Totally.
You know, I don't think that's too much to ask. And this motherfucker was like, so I think he took $1.5 million or something out of there, but like some short shit, like not nearly. He gave him $3 billion, which is, I think, more than half. It's more than half of the city's discretionary spending budget. You know,
I mean, also I think that like it sucks because sometimes I feel like, because people hear defund the police and they're not aware that it means not just have no police, it means putting the money back into the different community stuff.
No, well, see, most people mean that. I mean no police.
You're like,
if you're just asking me what I want,
yeah,
I want no police. Yeah, I want it. I want no police, and maybe because you know, people that are scared of there being no cops ask themselves what is it that they're scared of losing, right? Are you scared that someone with a gun won't be able to show up to certain situations? Because the vast majority of situations that police respond to, someone with a gun is not necessary.
Yeah, so maybe they need like mental health help or like rehab or.
Yeah. And they already have it. They already have a special. They have SWAT. You know, they have, like, if somebody with a gun is necessary, you can have a small team of armed officers for that. But where are the social workers and the drug counselors and the financial plan, like people that can actually solve the problems rather than responding to the symptoms?
Right.
You know, it doesn't make any sense. Right. It's like but like I said, really it's all about money, because we have a for-profit prison system, which is so ridiculous. You know, it's like these prison these companies that run these prisons, they get paid by the bed. So it's in their financial interest, and in fact, it's their fiduciary duty to keep those beds full. So they lobby to have all this bullshit. That's why weed's still illegal. Because like you said all those black people locked up for weed. That's why. Is they lobby for all these harsh sentences and bullshit laws, and they want to fund the police because it keeps those prisons full and it keeps them getting paid. It's just that simple. So that's what I'm saying. It's all interconnected, but again, it all starts with the money. Like I was reading something from Martin Luther King, and man, this boy cold. He's so cold.
Martin Luther. I've never heard him described as cold.
Oh yeah, but I'm telling y'all, listen, Martin Luther King had one of the dopest. Like his pen was so heavy. His pen game was so sharp that I sincerely believe he would have been an MC if rap existed when he was alive.
Well, I like that.
He would have went from being a preacher to being a conscious rapper or something.
A conscious rapper?
Because some of the best shit, because most people they know I have a dream and that's it.
Yeah.
But he wrote 11 books. And he's got countless speeches on record and letters he's written and all this stuff. And he was just cold in everything, dog. So this is some cold shit he said. He said the government hold on. Let me start from the beginning. He said the government's previous efforts to fight poverty had been piecemeal and pygmy. The government believes it could lift up the poor by attacking the root causes of their impoverishment one by one, by providing better housing, better education, and better support for families. But these efforts had been too small and too disorganized. Moreover, he wrote, this is the cold shit, the programs of the past all have another common failing. They are indirect. Each seeks to solve poverty by first solving something else. Yeah, that's some cold shit. Because he's right. It's like they keep trying to, because they're doing the same thing with racism. They keep trying to solve it from some other angle by tweaking something over here and hoping that it solves it. It's like, no, you can attack this problem directly. You can attack this problem financially. You can release people from prison for all of these bullshit offenses. You can do that. President Trump can do that with a stroke of his pen. He can do that today. But he got some shitty political advisors. It's like, yo, yeah, you want to get the black vote? Do that shit. I bet you black people will vote for Trump. If he was to really come out and be like, look, it starts with prison reform. It starts with healing the black community. So as of this moment, I'm releasing every prisoner that's in prison for marijuana and other minor,
non-violent drug crimes. Yeah, release everyone in prison for non-violent drug crimes.
But he can't do that because he's surrounded by, what's the word? But people sycophants, is that the word? Yeah.
What is it?
He's a sycophant. He's surrounded by people that just kiss his ass. I'm gonna look.
Yes men. He's surrounded by yes men.
A person who, this is such a stupid definition. It says a person who acts obsequiously towards someone important in order to gain advantage. And now we have to look up obsequiously. Why would you have that word in the definition?
Well, I have no idea. So I have a question.
Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. Okay, yeah.
Like, you are fucking on it.
Oh yeah, man. My Google game is
your Google game is top notch. Do you Google a lot? Do you read a lot?
I'm gonna Google some shit. Oh hell yeah, I read every day.
You do? I can tell. I don't read every day.
It's become part of my self-care routine. I make time to read every day, at least an hour.
What do you read?
I read all type of shit. I'm usually reading one educational thing and one fictional thing.
Really?
Yeah, because I find I can't read two fictional stories because it's hard to keep both stories in my head, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I find like whatever part of my brain gets exhausted from learning,
mm-hmm.
gets rest when I'm just reading about like an adventure or something, and vice versa. Whatever part of me gets exhausted with my imagination, it gets rest when I'm reading like some educational shit. So
I haven't been reading. Yeah, I've been realizing that because in college I used to read a lot for school, and school I read a lot, and then ever since I got out of school, I'm like, honestly, fuck reading. But then I'm noticing, honestly, I don't notice it normally, but then I'm noticing sometimes, and I'm like, wow, I forgot what that word meant, or I forgot what this word meant. So I gotta start reading more.
No, check it out though. That's why you got to get you a Kindle.
I gotta get a Kindle.
Yeah, get the Kindle Paperwhite. That joint is on sale.
It is?
I think it's on sale for like $100, but that shit, the Kindle the Kindle's the reason I read.
Really?
It's the reason I can read so much is because I can read in situations where I can't with a book or on my phone. You know what I mean? So
are you low key making money off Kindle? You're gonna give me a discount
no,
code?
no. But it has a thing on there called WordWise.
Okay.
And I'm looking around to see if it's here. There's a thing in there called WordWise, and if you so if you see a word you don't know and you can hold on it and it'll just tell you what it means.
I need to get a Kindle.
Right, but then it has another thing. I'm sorry, that's not WordWise. That's just the definition. But you turn on WordWise, it'll track like the words that you ask for definitions of, and it'll get a feel. It'll get a feel for your vocabulary, and then it can, like, just any book you open, it'll tell you, it'll have the definition right underneath words that it thinks you might want to learn. You know what I mean?
I'd be so offended though if it started defining words I knew the definition of. Like my Kindle thinks I'm dumb as fuck because that one day I was just high, forgot what that meant.
Yeah, it does it after a while, but yeah, it's like a vocabulary builder or some shit.
I need that, because even like as a comedian, sometimes you want to use different words. Do you get like excited for words? I get excited about words, like nerdy, like if you think of a good word or just the right word, or if you can't think of a word and then you think of it and you're like, damn, then what's that word? And then it's a fucking good word, like nerdy shit like that I'm into.
Yeah, well, I have one friendship that is mostly us exchanging words.
Really?
Oh yeah, because it was this friend of mine. She was a bartender at the one of the comedy clubs I used to work at, and one day I think we were discussing. She was talking about how, like, somebody said cellar door was the most beautiful phrase in the English language or something like that, and it was like. And then so then we started talking about our favorite words and stuff like that. And so like every time I come across a word, I'm like, I like that fucking word. I always send it to her, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
What are some words you like? Hold on. I have a list of words I like, actually.
Oh, wow. You keep a list?
Somebody asked me one time and I wrote it down, and
I also have a word of the day app too.
You do?
Yeah, it sends me a word every day. They're not always great, but like some of them are pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I like the word flamingo. Just because.
Okay.
Just because of how it sounds. Juxtaposition. Because if you say that, people will think that you know something. Tchotchke.
Tchotchke, okay.
Because it's spelled so crazy, and it really means just like a knick-knack. Sparkles, bubbles, and lavender. Those are my words. What about you? Yeah.
Man, I got so many. Actually, but the one I learned recently, I think my word of the day yesterday was ultra crepidarian.
Oh shit. I'm like, lavender, bubbles, tchotchkes. You're like, I'm like, excuse me.
Ultra crepidarian is just somebody that talks authoritatively about something they don't know anything about.
I like that.
Yeah, that was my word. That was my word of the day. Like, I don't know, a few days ago.
So. There's a lot of those.
Yeah, it's a lot of words, but it's also like I like to discover the words, but it's like there's a difference between discovering a word and then integrating it into your regular vocabulary where it doesn't sound like awkward when you use it. you know?
Yeah, like a weird flex where you're like shoehorning words that they're just overly
Yeah,
complex for like basic situations. And you're like, whoa, weird flex. I thought we were just having a casual conversation. And you're like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize the juxtaposition of my vocabulary was making you
Oh yeah.
uncomfortable. And then people are like, what?
I'll call somebody out for that. Don't be using $5 words in this 50-cent conversation we having. Like when there's a better, because that's how you write shitty college papers and shit, by trying to use big words. It's like
Yeah.
just speak regularly and make that, in a way that anyone can understand.
Did you go to college?
I did. I never finished.
Where'd you go?
Very briefly, I went to Oregon State for maybe like 6 months, and then I went to San Diego City College, community college, for a couple years, and then Then I tried to do my. Then I went to Brandman University, which is like a scam.
Wait,
Uh,
Brandman University. Okay,
yeah,
was that
that
online?
it was part online, but it was like one of those colleges that was like heavily for profit.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't have people's best interests. But in fact, I don't even know if they still exist. I wonder if they do.
Doing
But
a quick,
I know they ended up having to pay a fine or something.
Where did you grow up?
Oh, it does still exist. Wow. I grew up in Maryland,
Oh,
the DC, Maryland area. Yeah.
and then you went to Oregon?
Right. Well, I went from Maryland to San Diego because I was in the military, and then I went from San
Oh,
Diego to
shit.
San Diego to Oregon because I got a job and at Intel right after the military.
So how were you like from military to comedian? Was it something you always wanted to do?
Not always, but it was definitely something I wanted to do for a long time before I did it. You know,
Yeah.
but but the thing is, I didn't think of myself as a funny person until um, until I was about maybe 20. And
Yeah.
like in the military, I learned that people thought I was funny, or
Uh-huh.
maybe I just like cultivated that part of myself that was funny.
Yeah. Do you think that like being in the military, the discipline that it takes to do that, do you think that that's been beneficial for comedy?
It's so crazy. You're like the third person, because I've done like 7 or 8 podcasts this week
Uh-huh.
or whatever. But you're like the third person to ask me that exact question.
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny that
I
people.
was like impressed with myself. I was like, damn,
Nah,
this is an
nah,
innovative question. And you're like, bitch, I've heard that question 3 times this week.
no. But the answer may surprise you. Like the answer is no.
The
Because I'm
answer is
not a.
no.
Well, I'm. The thing is discipline is not in. It's exposed as much as it is imposed. You know what I mean? In the sense that, like, the military doesn't make you anything. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it
Mm-hmm.
just shows you. It just shows you what you made of. It's like I think of human beings as like everybody is made of different ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what dish you choose to make with what's in your pantry, that's up to you, but you can't help what you got. And so I think, like, going through the military, or just any other sort of experience like that, it just reveals what's in your pantry. It doesn't make you into the meal. You know what I mean? You still
Damn,
have
that's
to
a
do that.
tight analogy, though.
So it's like, if you have discipline, you'll be a disciplined guy. But I don't know if I'm a very disciplined guy, but I'm
But I think
stubborn.
you
I'm
are.
I'm stubborn and determined and spiteful, and that can give you the same results as discipline.
I get that. So you know what else I find gives me the same results as discipline? Anxiety. I'm
Right,
like
exactly.
so
Yeah.
afraid of like not having like a stable life that it makes me like try my best to do everything I can to like control what I can't control. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like the anxiety, it probably looks like discipline, but really it's just anxiety that I've shifted into discipline, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, my pantry's fucked.
There's definitely some shit rotten in there. You know,
Yeah,
so
like throw that shit down the
it's
disposal.
like
I don't know.
this can
Compost
has a dent in it, man.
it. Yeah, exactly. So what else was I have you had any weird fashion phases where you wore something where in hindsight you're like, I don't know what I was going for there?
Um, I mean, the answer to that is yes and no, because I definitely have some things that I look back on and go, why did I think that was cool?
Yeah.
But also I was never going for anything, you know.
Oh, I was
It's
always
it,
going for stuff and they were always failing. You know what
no,
I mean?
I was just like very minimalist. I'm not a very fashion forward person. I'm like, I just I'm the type of person that if I buy if I buy some nice jeans that fit, you know,
Uh-huh.
I'll just buy 6 pair of them and just wear
Call it.
those.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's like I don't want to have to think about it. I don't want to have to think about style. You know,
Like
I'd rather just have an acceptable, not gaudy, stylish outfit. Yeah, and I wear the same thing every day if people didn't think it was weird.
like a cartoon character vibe.
Exactly.
That's
Just
you.
well,
You're like you
right,
open your
because you know
closet,
why?
it's all the
Because
same.
fashion gives me anxiety.
It
It's like a
does?
it's like a puzzle that you might have the wrong answer to. It's like I don't want to have to worry about having the wrong answer to what is fashionable right now. You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather just like this is acceptable. You know, like
I get
this won't
it.
make
I
me look
get it.
completely ridiculous. So I'm going to leave out of the house in this. And and as far as having to keep up with what's the cutting edge, I don't ever want to have to think about it. You know?
Yeah, well, I think like when you start worrying about like what's on trend, that's when you're fucked because like you just gotta wear what you like at the end of the day, you know? Anyone who's like, this is what other people are wearing, this is what I should wear to be fashionable forward, they mostly just suck. I just like wearing things that are fun. Like if I see it, I'm like, that's fun, then I like wearing it. That's why I have Elton John on my shirt. It says, I'm like, I saw that, I was like, now that's fun. We need it.
You're very fashionable. To me, you strike me as somebody that's another thing. I'm not organized enough to be as fashionable as you. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know, like if I had like a what do they call it? A stylist
A stylist, yeah.
that was like going and buying me stuff, I would
Yeah.
probably be a lot more fashionable as long as I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like also shopping gives me anxiety, so I don't like walking through the store, especially with other people.
Oh yeah. I mean, shopping with other people gives me anxiety too. I also think that I remember as a kid, like shopping with my mom would give me anxiety too. Cause you're just like, dude, this shit's boring. I literally want you to buy what I want you to buy and you're not gonna listen to me.
I'm just impatient. Like I can go to the store with people that go to the store with a list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm just gonna go to the store and grab a few things. I'm like, well, no. What things are you going to grab? Because I ain't trying to be walking around. Oh, what a great deal.
Aimlessly. Yeah.
Plums are back. No, motherfucker. We're going to here to get mustard, relish, horseradish, and steak, and we walking the fuck up out of here no matter what else is in here.
See, I think that's like a dude thing though. Cause like I even remember like I just think guys just don't like shopping as much. I mean, of course there's always exceptions. But I just remember like when I was in middle school, I really wanted to go to the mall and my dad was like watching the Laker game and I begged him and he took me to the mall and he had like, it's like the 90s or like the early 2000s. He had like a portable television and he was watching the Laker game. Well, I was at the mall. I was like, and he's like, hurry up. And just sitting there watching the game. Like,
That's so
what?
funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's our episode. You were such a good guest. I hope that you had fun coming on.
That's right on time. My phone's down to 4%.
Oh, shit. Perfect. Where can our listeners and viewers find you?
I'm on Instagram, and maybe by the time this comes out, I might still be on Twitter. I'm thinking about just giving that up. But both are BS Comedian.
BS comedian.
Yeah, and then my podcast is BS with Brian Simpson.
BS with Brian Simpson. Okay, and I'll write that in the description so people can find you. And that was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to like virtually hang out today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, let's do it in person next time.
Yeah, have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.